Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you are all well. You beautiful, beautiful, amazing, wonderful people. It's Friday, baby. It's the end of the week, and we're about to go out on a bang because we do have some more docs that have been released in the Idaho 4 case. Now, we also do have potentially court being streamed. Now, am I going to stream it? I am hopefully going to. Obviously, it depends if Judge gets his channel up and running and sorted. I've just got to make sure that if we stream it, we're okay to stream it and we're not going to get struck down with furious anger and all that. And anyway, before we go on to the docs, I just want to say, obviously, the videos that I did yesterday, video 1 and video 2, anyone who comments on them videos get a chance to win one of 2 hoodies that are they've been seen on these videos. Now, I'm going to run that until Sunday. I was going to do it today, but I thought, do you know what? I'm going to give people the opportunity to make sure they go and check out them videos, get entered, and then I'm going to do it live because we're now up and running in the new studio. Yeah, pretty much that's what I'm looking to do. So live Sunday, we're going to announce the winner of both of those hoodies. Please, please, please get looking at them videos from yesterday and comment. 2 entries, 2 chances to win. Let's get straight into the meat and potatoes as we're looking at some docs. Is there motive hidden in these docs? So look, this is what we've got. So we start at this one. So we've got here a order to seal and redact a search warrant. It's in the matter of the application for a search warrant for Meta platforms. Obviously, Meta is Facebook. So let me just go through this, right? This matter came before the court on the January the 3rd, 2024, on the state's motion to seal or redact pursuant to ICA 32. The hearing was held via Zoom. Ashley Jennings appeared on behalf of the state and Taylor appeared on behalf of Mr. Kohberger. The court reviewed the records, considered the arguments presented, weighed the interest in privacy and public disclosure, and announced its findings of fact on the record. Therefore, pursuant to ICA 32 to A and D, the court finds it necessary to seal, in part, and redact the record related to the search warrant for the following reasons. The documents contain highly intimate facts, statements, the publication of which would be highly objectionable to a reasonable person, and the documents contain facts or statements that might threaten or endanger the life or safety of individuals. So, after due consideration and with good cause apparent, it is hereby ordered that the state herein shall be disclosed except for the following. The affidavit in support of the search warrant is sealed. The search warrant and receipt and inventory be redacted. This order will remain in effect until further order of the court. So, that is very interesting because we're looking at the fact it says about highly intimate facts or statements. Now, they go down the row here. This is basically the same thing for Microsoft Corps. So it is literally the same thing here, intimate facts or statements. So I'm not going to read them through because they're exactly the same, but for 3 different bodies. And the last one here is for TikTok.com. And again, stating the same thing, highly intimate facts or statements, the publication of which would be highly objectionable and reasonable to a reasonable person. Now, what I want to say here is, remember Steve Gonsalves? He was talking about, he alluded to something being said that people would find gross, and that needs to kind of just rip the Band-Aid off. Now, is this simply pointing towards the fact that there is information contained within these documents that would point towards the girls or even Ethan being involved in things that some may not understand? You know, the thing what kind of throws me off with this, though, the thing that sits a little bit uncomfortable, is that if they are in this paperwork, if this is court documentation, there must be relevance to it. There must be some form of relevance. Now, when you've got Ann Taylor saying that there is literally no connection between her client and the victims, you kind of have to wonder where they're going with this, what relevance this documentation has. Now, people have speculated that Bryan Kohberger may have been in contact or messaging one or more of the females who was in this house. People were talking about and saying, oh, he was sliding into the DMs of this one, that one, and again, that's speculation. Nothing's ever come out and proven beyond a reasonable doubt that's what happened. Obviously, it's very difficult to monitor because when Bryan Kohberger's name went live into the ether, all of a sudden, all of these accounts started cropping up. We can bet a bollocks to a barn dance, the vast majority of them were fake. But is it potentially going to be brought forward in amongst all of this court documentation that Bryan Kohberger was indeed in contact, and not only in contact, but having specific conversations of a specific nature with one or more of the girls in this house? Now, I say girls in this house because I don't want to turn around and say victims, because let's not forget there are survivors in here as well, and I use that term loosely, but we've got Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen, and we've joked, do you know what I mean? And we've joked and kind of turned around and said, and I know some people aren't joking when they say it, but said, what about if Bryan Kohberger was having a relationship with Bethany Funk? What if Bryan Kohberger was actually at that house that night to actually see one of the surviving roommates? Now, there's got to be relevance here. Now, I could be reading into this completely wrong. I could be. Again, I'm a foreigner. I'm a foreigner from over the river, and I don't always get everything, and I admit to it. But I look at these docs. I look at the fact that these are social media accounts. They are basically saying that contained within these, the paperwork that they got back, so the documents that are there is information contained within those docs, highly intimate facts or statements, the publication of which would be highly objectionable and personable and reasonable to a reasonable person, and that the documents contain facts or statements that might threaten or endanger life or safety of individuals. So I know that we've spoken about numerous things. People have spoken about numerous sites that these females could have been involved in. Now, is it that they all were? They all were. Now, I'm not saying there's anything against that. Absolutely not. Do you know what I mean? Each their own. As long as you're not harming other people, do what you've got to do. Live and let live. That's what I say. But that does offer a conduit to people, doesn't it? If they are on some sort of adult sites, for instance, or this, people have turned around and said about sugar daddies and stuff like that, that kind of changes things. That opens the field somewhat. And there could be motive in there. There could indeed be motive in there. So I look at it like this. We've always said this could be a digital trial, and there is going to be things that come out later on that absolutely proves that Bryan Kohberger was guilty, and that's all we want. Do you know what I mean? Like, I sit here, and I say this time and time again, this ain't about supporting a killer. This is about supporting somebody who has not yet been proven, in my eyes, to be guilty of the crime. Now, if later on down the line then enough evidence is seen, then so be it. He's guilty, he did what he did, and punish him for doing it. But he has the right to a fair trial. He has a right to be proven that he did it beyond a reasonable doubt. And it's things like this, when this sort of stuff comes up, it does make you wonder, because there's going to be no escaping that. If he was having some conversations with one or more of the females in this house, or one or more of the survivors, it is going to turn this case on its head, because there could be your exculpatory evidence that Bryan Kohberger was indeed having some form of communication with, say, Bethany Funk, for instance, and that would have given the reason for him being there over these periods of time, the 12 times that we've been told that he ventured into Moscow, Idaho quite late in the evening. Well, maybe it was some sort of relationship rendezvous. And again, I'm just spitballing, because there's obviously something there. Let me know down below what you think. Is this nothing burger, or is there a potential here? There is something, and we are starting to see the beginning of what could later on be found to be motive. There is an alternative, and the alternative is that the prosecution, this is like a rebound, they now know that the defense are looking to start going through the documents and perhaps unseal stuff because they feel enough duration as the time has surpassed. People need to start seeing things. And do they now feel that if the public start to see that the girls in this house or even Ethan were involved in stuff that could have opened them up to other people and potentially another killer, furthermore putting Bryan in a situation where he's not the only one who could have done this, is that why they're now starting to hide things? To stop the public now starting to doubt that Bryan Kohberger is the guy. The people who at this stage do feel they've got him pinned and nailed. Let me know down below. I hope you all have an amazing, amazing Friday. If we can stream later, I will stream later. If we can't, we won't, but I will come in later on and do an update as to what went on. But at this current time, I don't know how the rest of the day is going to go. So bear with me. Stay amazing, stay beautiful, and I'll catch you all later.